Hey, what's up? Blake Polston. I am a proud graduate of John 316 Ministries. I'll never forget my first day on camp. It was February 22nd of 2013. I'd been arrested January 15th of the same year, and spent a lot of time. I don't say a lot of time, but I spent some time in county jail. And it was crazy because the whole time that I was in the county jail, that's whenever I first encountered Christ. Like, that's whenever I started reading the Bible. That's when I started experiencing the Word of God for myself. My years leading up to that, naturally, they were the years of a man who would lead himself into a county jail. And as I started making my own decisions for my life, I could never understand why that I thought that I was so smart, but yet nothing would go the way that I thought it should. And so as I got arrested, I started coming to know the Lord, and I started reading the Word, and I started understanding the Word. And I was sitting there one day, and I started praying about, God, send me somewhere. Like, where do I need to go? Because at that point in time, the jail, it just wasn't working any longer. I started off, I was happy to be there because I had been rescued from the situation that I was in, and it was way better, honestly, than where I had come from. And as I'm praying, man, for the Lord to lead me somewhere, all of a sudden my grandma comes to visit, and I tell her, I say, hey, Nanny, I said, hey, can we start trying to reach out maybe to John 3:16, or maybe to get me, some help? I said, it's getting kind of bad in here, and I feel like I'm going to have to start fighting, and I don't want to fight. Like, I'm trying to get out of here, not stay in here. And I go back to my rack, and as I'm sitting there, they call for Polston again. And crazy thing is you don't get 2 visits in jail. I don't know if you know this or not, but you just don't. And as I'm walking to the little cubicle or to the room with the window, as I'm sitting there, I look, and it's Brian Tuggle. Well, Brian is the director and the founder of John 316 Ministries. And I was like, man, this cannot be a coincidence. God has heard my prayers. And so Brian, with tears in his eyes, he looks through that plexiglass window, and he says, Blake, he said, I talked to the prosecutor. He said, we're going to get you in John 3:16. He said, I told the prosecutor, he said, that years ago, you were my stepson, and I had the opportunity to do Bible studies with you then. He said, but I didn't take advantage of it. He said, so I asked the prosecutor if I could have that opportunity now. And as I'm sitting there with Brian, instantaneously, I just look at him. And this is a man that I hadn't seen in forever. He's my sister's father. He was married to my mother at one point in time. He and my mom actually abandoned me while they were in addiction. But the crazy part is when they abandoned me to go get help. And so they got help at a place called New Beginnings in Houston, Arkansas. And so it's crazy, because here's what I want you to take from that. That some of you might be in a bad circumstance, you might be in a bad situation, you might have regrets about the things that you've done in the past, maybe with your children or as a child or someone that's young. You might have, aught with the people that were supposed to be taking care of you. But what I can tell you is that your Father in heaven has not forgot about you. And Romans 8:28 says that we are benefited from all things to those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose, that he makes all things come into his will. And so right now, today, I'm going to tell you, God, he has restored my life. Brian got me out of jail, brought me to John 3:16. The date that I stepped foot on John 3:16 campus, I thought that I was going to be here forever. There is no greater place on earth. John 3:16 is heaven on earth, I'm telling you. And God, he had different plans. Even against my will, he drugged me kicking and screaming away from here, but he brought me to another great place. I didn't leave here so that I could do less for God. I left here so that I could follow my calling and continue to grow and to do more for God. And so today I'm happily married. I got 2 great kids, no longer an addict. I've been clean for 12 or 13 years. You do the math. And my wife and I, we get an opportunity to pastor at New Life Church in downtown Little Rock, as well as we launched a ministry called M18 Recovery, in which we get to help men and women overcome drugs and alcohol through Christ. Recently, we've merged with an organization called Every Arkansas, which is the parent organization for ministries like the Arkansas Dream Center, 100 Families, Pulaski County, and City Serve, Arkansas. And now we're the addiction recovery arm for this. And all of this stemmed from somebody coming to get me out of jail and then me continuing to be obedient. So if you're out there, you're lost, you're hopeless, here's what I can tell you, that if you will just give in, if you will just allow somebody else to make your decisions for you for a season in your life and submit and surrender everything to God, your life can be absolutely unrecognizable in the near future. If you will just give God the ability to work in your life, everything can change because behold, all things become new.